Hey everybody, it's ColonelCollects9999 and welcome to Softdisk Magazzette, issue 114. What? Why are you looking at me like you're confused? What do you mean you don't know about the Softdisk Magazettes from the 90s? Okay, well, allow me to explain. You remember how when we played Dangerous Dave and Catacomb 1 on MS-DOS, they were on something called Gamer's Edge, which was basically a subscription service that would deliver MS-DOS games to you? Well, the Apple II computers had a similar thing to it by Softdisk, I believe the same company. You could subscribe to a monthly service called Softdisk Magazettes, which was basically diskettes that came in magazines. Or the magazines were the diskettes, which was why they were monthly subscription services just like magazines. But these magazettes were things that you would deliver, you would use on your Apple II, and they would have like little programs you could use or games or what have you. We could read about it if we want. Table of Contents, Movie Minder by Tom Hall and Jim Whaler. Are you like most families in the 1990s? Do you have stacks upon stacks of videos to sort through every time you watch the VCR? Use this database to help with this madness. That's kind of odd. But yeah, like I said, press escape. I'm going to go back to the cover page. This was just basically the same as magazines as in the 90s, except they were kind of, you basically read everything on the computer screen, so yeah, I think it was kind of a unique thing for the time. And it would have little programs and games on it. Like, for example, the Monthly Mystery. Press return to read it. Monthly Mystery 2 by Peter Rogodzki. This month's mystery smells awfully fishy. You may need to get tanked up before you look at this one. Go on, run it, and see what we mean. End of Monthly Mystery Disc. So it would tell you when the certain section you're on. When it would end, basically. So you can go to Monthly Mystery, you can hit Enter to read it, or you can press R to run it. Let's see what this Monthly Mystery is. It's an aquarium! You can have a little fish tank on your computer screen. That bubbles popping sound is a little bit annoying, so I'm going to press Control S to mute the sound. So yeah, it would have things like this on it, where you can't really control anything here, you just kind of look at it. It'd be cool if you could have this as like a little screensaver. But Sam told me that the little castle in the middle would cause issues because it's not moving. I didn't realize that everything in a screensaver had to be moving, but either way, that's pretty much all this is. You can press escape to quit. The fish in that could potentially be green. They won't always be red. And if you're wondering what's up with this little cursor, basically if you have a joystick connected to your Apple II, you can use it. Because I'm using the AppleWin emulator to play this, the joystick is the number keys. However, it's kind of moving on its own, and I think I feel like there might be some drifting going on with how the joystick input is set up, but it doesn't really matter because it hasn't affected any games, and it doesn't really affect it on this since I usually just use the keyboard for this. So you might be asking yourself, why did we decide to look at this in the first place? Well, like I said, sometimes these magazettes would have games on them. And in this case, if I press escape, we have Catacombs. Let's press return to read it. Insert side B of Softdisk. Okay, basically what this means is that these magazettes would usually come in multiple discs. Disc A would be like the menu and some other stuff, but then there might be a disc B, a disc C, or a disc D that you would need to insert in order to run some programs. In this case, I'm going to insert disc B. Okay, disc B has been inserted. Let's press return. Okay. I don't know why we need to insert the disk just to read it. It would make sense to run it, but we just need to read it. Catacombs by John Carmack. This is basically the Apple... excuse me. This is basically the Apple II port of Catacomb that we played via the Catacombs pack on Good Old Games. And I said during the original Catacomb video that I just couldn't find Catacombs for the Apple II anywhere. It turns out this is how it was released. There were actually 4 Catacomb games released on Apple II. There was normal Catacomb, but there was also Sylvan Idol, Ether Quest, and Sandtrap. And all of them were released via the Softdisk monthly Magazzette packs. So yeah, but it still doesn't explain why I never found it, even when searching like Catacomb Apple II on Google. I would always come up with the MS-DOS version, and there was no information that it was released on this Softdisk Magazzette thing. So yeah, it's kind of odd. But anyways, let's go ahead and get into the game. And I'm pretty sure the story is the same as the MS-DOS version. Catacombs by John Carmack. You are Petin Everhale, the world's most powerful magician in the world, journeying to Mount Kel-Cariad. The evil Shadrani forces have driven the mountain's peaceful inhabitants away. You must vanquish the monstrous intruders. Your quest. One night, 2 bedraggled northerners show up to your doorstep. Their clothes are filthy and appear to have been singed. You ask them what happened. Terrible, they say. Many of our people were killed. The invaders said they were from Shedrin, and to bow down before them. They were hideous monsters of all types and had legions of terrible creatures. I see, you say. I suppose you'd like me to go there, drive them out, and return the mountain to your people. Well, yes, the northerner says. That was the general idea. You pause, mulling over the situation. The other northerner speaks up. They have lots of gold, he says. Well, let's be off then, you say. You know you could just switch out Petin for Wario, and it wouldn't make any difference. Playing Catacombs. Also, it's actually called Catacombs plural, whereas it's Catacomb singular in the other versions. Catacombs is a double high-res game in which you explore the catacombs inside Mount Kel-Cariad and fight the monsters within. Destroy the monsters and collect the gold. Note, you need enhanced 2E or later machine to run Catacombs. These are the controls. I'll explain these when we start playing. Your arsenal. You have 4 ways to attack. Missile, plosive fire, bolt, and a nuke. A magic missile is a little shot that will get rid of goblins and such. If you hold down the fire button, your shot power will build up to maximum. When you release the button, a large energy shot will be explosively released. If you collected a bolt scroll and use it, a volley of plosive shots will be unleashed. A nuke fires 3 plosive shots in all 4 directions. What you'll need. To get to the next level of the Catacomb, you must get to a teleportation mirror. Some secret mirrors may take you to higher levels. There are 15 levels in all, so there's 10 more levels than in the MS-DOS version. The enemy. Enemies you will face range from goblins to skeletons to dragons. You can pick up treasure chests, potions for healing, and scrolls for offensive spells. For doors, you will need keys, and some walls will explode under a magic barrage, revealing new passages. Finding these passages may be the only way to get to the exit. If you hold down button 1 on the joystick, or toggle with Z in keyboard mode, then move back and forth in fire, you will keep facing the same direction, so you strafe a hallway full of monsters. This is very handy, especially for finding secret passages. Finding secret passages! Good luck, Petin. You'll need it. Find the Shadrani treasure room and defeat all the Shadrani on the way there. What? No dupe? Sorry, folks. This monster was too big to include the game, the text, and the ability to dupe the files. We recommend using Copy2+ to duplicate the program. Look in the component files article to see which files you need. End of Catacombs text. So, we'll play the game in a second, but I want to point out that even though on Catacombs pack it says that Catacombs 1989, All other sources from this game, regardless if it's the DOS version or the Apple II version, be it Wikipedia or Catacombs Wiki, it always says that this game came out in 1990, with no evidence that it came out in 1989. I guess it's possible that it started development in 89 and then was released in 90. It's kind of like how on the original Wario Land, the title screen says 1993, but the game actually came out in 1994. Oh yeah, by the way, if you notice that the emulator looks a little bit more crisp, debatable, and if you're wondering why, it's because I found out in the settings that of AppleWin that you can actually enable and disable the 50% scan lines that I guess you would find on a normal Apple II computer. Here's what it looks like with the scan lines. And if you want to know, this is what Castle Wolfenstein and Beyond Castle Wolfenstein look like without the scan lines, which we didn't show in the original videos on them. I'll keep the scan lines off so it looks easier for you guys to see, but if you guys prefer the scan lines, let me know in the comments and I'll turn them back on if you want. Okay, anyways, enough dawdling, let's start the game. Okay, so, controls. If you're used to the MS-DOS version, this may take a little time to get used to, but to move, your character, it is actually not, the arrow keys, and that's because, the Apple II only had left and right on the arrow keys, there was no up and down. And if you press up and down on the keyboard using AppleWin, that'll switch to either joystick control or keyboard control. So, how you control petting using the keyboard is I for up, J for left, K for down, L for right. So you use IJKL the same way you would use WASD, just with your other hand. I don't think this control method is that hard to do. Like I said, it might just get a little bit, it just might be a little bit tough to get used to. Press Alt to fire, and then just like the DOS version, it'll do 1 up, 1 down, or something. Hold down Alt to build up your power to shoot a big fireball. And strafing, you had to hold Alt to you press Control to fire in the DOS version, and held Alt to go into strafe mode. However, in strafe mode is actually toggle in this version, not switch. So you press Z to switch to strafe mode. This is another thing that took me a long time to get used to, but it's just how this version is. And here are the goblins. So all of the same enemies are in here, just that the goblins in this are green. And of course the skeletons are here, they move faster, and they also look a little bit more like skeletons than they do in the DOS version. Let's see. Here we've got a potion, treasure chests. Treasure chests are just extra points, and just like before, you can use space or P to use a potion to restore your health. B for the nuke spell, B for the bolt spell, and N for the nuke spell. And I believe the maps for each level are all the same as the DOS version. There might be some minor differences, so I will just be using the maps for the DOS version. However, there are no maps for any of the Apple II Catacomb games anywhere, so I'm just going to have to go off of a YouTube video for levels 11 to 15, because there's 5 additional levels in this. Okay, so let's switch to strafe mode. Let's get that skeleton to come down here, and there you go. Now, the skeletons, I think, move a little bit slower than they do in... Well, I think the enemies in general move a teeny bit slower than they do. I think the enemies move a teeny bit slower in this, but they still can be just as annoying. I think just in general, this version moves a little bit slower because, I think the more enemies are on screen, the more the game tends to slow down. Which I think is just a fault of the hardware. Alright, there's the key up there. Now, before going through that, I just want to show that we showed this at the end of the game last time, but of course you can still break through walls. Down here. There's another gate down here. And just like in the DOS versions, there are shortcut mirrors to take you to levels 3, 5, 7, and 9. However, I don't recommend you take them because then you'll be getting less of potions and scrolls. And unfortunately, using that key prevents us from getting through here, so I gotta reset the game. Oh yeah, I guess I didn't read the text. So I think the story actually is different here than it is in the DOS version. Shadran Temple, donations expected. I mean, that's how they got a lot of gold, I guess. Shrine of the False Image. So yeah, the story is actually completely different than in the DOS version. If you read the DOS version on Gamer's Edge and then read this version, pretty dang different. Let's see here. Oh yes, and of course we've got the ogres. But the color palette is definitely a lot different. Like, these guys were red in the original, but they're gray in here. Heck, the entire place looks different. And I don't know what looks uglier, brown and gray or green and pink. Anyways, got some more potions here, treasure chests. There's a scroll there, more potions. And you can break all of these walls. And there are three scrolls behind here. And I believe the scroll is random when you pick it up as well, but I could be wrong. The Catacombs. So, yeah, and as you can see, the game is slowing down because there's a lot of enemies on screen. You're just gonna have to get used to it, playing this game, because the more moving sprites there are on screen, the more it's gonna lag. Sad to say, but that's just the way it goes. Let's see, and I think you can break through this. Yep. And you can get the key there. And if you're wondering, the sequel to this game, Catacomb 2, or aka The Catacomb, was not released on Apple II. It's an MS-DOS exclusive. And I'm gonna guess the reason is because the Apple II just wasn't powerful enough for it. I guess they probably couldn't fit 30 levels on the diskette. Although I feel like maybe they could have put 15 levels on one disc and 15 levels on the other, and then maybe you have to switch to the other disc in the middle of playing the first 15 levels in order to keep your progress, but I don't know, maybe that'd be a bit too complicated. The mirror is there. Can you break through this? That was just a little shortcut. But there are some bonuses you can get if you go to the bottom with the key, which is what we're going to do. Remember to use strafe mode often. You also can follow... I find that you can follow the fireball that you shot a little bit easier than in the DOS version. So you can, like, run behind it, and you can... And the fireball can get anything it goes by. The running animation, or the walking animation, looks a little different from the DOS version as well, but still looks a little bit goofy. Okay, anyway. Gravediggers, beware! I laugh at your beware. No, really, beware is actually one of the better Pokemons in Generation 7. I recommend it. Alright, and here we've got a key, a treasure chest, a scroll, and a potion. Okay. Now, just like the DOS version, potions are really not scarce in this. Pretty much if you lose any amount of health, you can use a potion and there won't be much consequence, because there's a lot of it in here. Like, I don't think you're ever going to run dry in here. Anyways, let's go through the next mirror. Goblin Hollow. Let's see. Yeah, as you can see, the levels are basically the same in here as the DOS version. Like, we'll see that in a second. Whoop. Oh. And the AI of the enemies is a little bit different as well. I mean, sometimes they go straight for you. Other times they can't decide if they want to bumble around a corner trying to get to you, or actually do their due diligence and go around the corner to be able to get to you. That skeleton actually dodged my shot there. Well, more reasons to hate them. Okay. You know, I don't know about you, but because the goblins are green, they honestly look a little bit more like, they kind of look more like a cactus monsters almost, and I feel like the brown environment kind of helps with that, because it kind of looks like a desert almost. It's just like Zelda 1 in a way. Which is fitting because I'm also recording Zelda 2 at the same time as this. Well, I mean, today's Memorial Day at the time of recording this, and I don't think you can ever get those, unfortunately. But yeah, today's thought there was a key here. Yeah, see, just like in the DOS version, there's a key hidden in the wall here. Anyways, today's Memorial Day when I'm recording this, and I do plan on doing this year's Memorial Day live stream, but I don't know if I'm totally in the mood to stream, and it's going to be a little hard to focus. Plus, I asked, head on to level 4, Amusements of the Master. I wanted to, I made a community post asking what we should play, and nobody responded, so I was thinking maybe doing some Minecraft, just to show the mods that we may have in the new Clone Community series. Pets. Yeah, there's definitely a lot different text than in the DOS version as well. Anyways, to get where we need, you want to blast through here, follow that fireball, and go all the way down here. The slowdown might make this hard to play, though. In fact, the slowdown is actually pretty bad, that it kind of affects the game as well. Like, it doesn't recognize when I hit Z to go into strafe mode, or press Alt for a shot. I don't think I can break through this one. I have to kill them later. Alright, I'm going to try to kill most of the enemies in this as well, for the sake of getting a high score. However, I think the score actually loops back after you reach a certain amount, so at the end of the video, in the edit, I'm going to have to calculate the actual high score. There's an example of the nuke spell. I'll use the bolt spell in a second as well, just to demonstrate it. You also move faster when you are in a corner, or just the camera's not moving and you're not the center of the screen. Gee, it really feels like that any little action you do in this game, or just on the Apple II, is gonna cause at least a little bit of slowdown. Oh yes, this is where you want to go. You want to blast through here, get these treasure chests. We come down to the holding pens. Now, I'm not sure if you noticed, but in the DOS version, every wall that you could break through had like little indents on it that gave you an indication of what walls you could break down. The Apple II games, unfortunately, do not have any of that. So we just kind of have to blast at walls and hope that we can possibly break them down. I want to get in there, see if I can use wait. Okay, it was a bit of a waste of a bolt, but I wanted to show what it looked like in this, even though we are going to be using it at some point anyway. Some more potions in here. Plus, it feels like the enemies in this have a little bit less health than they do in the DOS version as well, so they're easier to kill. The end. But just like the DOS version, this isn't the end. You need to dig through these walls with the fireball. And unfortunately, unlike Catacomb 2, and by the way, there's no way you can get those treasure chests in there, you have to blast through these the old-fashioned way. It's not like the sequel where blasting one wall will blast all of the walls touching it that can also be broken. Even in the later Apple II ones, you have to break through, them the old-fashioned way. Glad you could make it. Oh, I made it alright. I'm gonna try to get in the middle of them and use some bolts. Why? Because it's fun. This is a big room. Yeah, I couldn't tell. It's so big that standing in the middle of it makes it look like an empty map. Some more ogres in here as well, and skeletons. Okay, before going through there though, of course, do not enter. Yeah, well, I'm a naughty girl, just like what Rotom Dex calls me when I'm called to the principal's office in Pokemon Sun and Moon. It's kind of scary how relatable it feels when you get that cutscene in Pokemon Sun and Moon where it says, Celine to the principal's office, please. Celine to the principal's office. And they're like, what did you do? And then you can say either nothing or, well... That scene is just... You want to go in there to get a key. That scene in Pokemon Sun and Moon is just painfully relatable. Even though what actually happened is that the teachers saw you battling the trainers and then they wanted to battle you. Pretty much as simple as that. Okay, anyways, I have not been talking about the actual game. You can use the key here to get bonus points, then you gotta use another key to get more bonus points, and then you get another key, then you can go to the exit. Yes, the test of the keys. This is the level where you have to, where you get 1 key, then 2 keys, then 3 keys, and then 4 keys, and then you have to use them on, you have to go back and forth to use them on certain gates, and if you don't do it that way, you will ruin your whole playthrough. Anyways, let's go in here next. Okay, let's not use a nuke this time. You just shoot a fireball and it'll annihilate all of them. Now, once again, like I said before, even those 4 potions in here, don't use a key on this. Otherwise, that'll screw it all up. Because there isn't a key in there, I don't think. Get rid of those ugly ogres. Uh-oh, that goblin's coming down for us. Oh, yeah, trying to go through, a 2-tile-wide gap is unnecessarily hard in this game, because you end up, going, 2 tiles, 1 tile too many. Anyways. Want to grab this key and run back to the start. Then open that and grab these keys and run back again. Then use these keys, kill that skeleton, then grab these keys, then run back again. Still less backtracking than Paper Mario Sticker Star. Alright, get through that and get those. Now, kill these skeletons. Although you don't have to kill them, but if you want to get more bonus stuff, you can get them. Get some more potions, get another scroll. Jeez, it's so jarring when you stop running and then you don't hear the footstep sound anymore. You know that feeling you get when you've been hearing like a continuous sound for a while, and then you just turn off the sound and it just feels a little off? Got that. Alright, now we must get another key, which this skeleton is hiding. It was on top of it, so you couldn't see it. There isn't enough processing power to be able to show the skeleton sprite and the key sprite at the same time. Okay. Death awaits those with heavy feet. I don't know what that means. Does it have something to do with having too much stuff in your inventory? As Henry Stickmin says, or it says in Henry Stickmin, Fleeing the Complex, do you really need all that stuff? No loot left behind. And I was gonna use a bolt on them, but I couldn't get in there. Let's see. You want to bust through these. And check it out, the gargoyle is back. And in this it's blue instead of purple. I admit the game sprites look a lot better than they in the DOS version than in the Apple II version. Oh yeah, you can break through this as well. And this, get some more scrolls. And then I think you can break through this for more potions. Like, wait. No, it's, like this. Oh, what? Oh, okay. Now you want to break through that. And kill the gargoyle. What does the gargoyle look like to you in the sprite? First of all, it looks crap. It looks... Okay, I didn't mean to use bolt there. I was kind of panicking. It definitely looks a lot slimmer than it does in the DOS version. They slimmed it down, just like Pikachu. Okay, anyways. So, a reminder for this level is that you need to find 6 keys and use them on 6 gates. Whoa, what was that? Grab that. Oh wait, isn't there a key here? Don't think there is. Alright, turn strafe mode back on because I think we're gonna have... Oh, I thought we were gonna have another gargoyle. Let's see. There's one here. And... Can we get these treasure chests? Yes, we can. And head down here to power through these skeletons to get... Oop. I hope I didn't just use 2 bolts. I think I used 2 bolts by accident there. But whatever, we still got plenty of them. Get these, blast through this, get that. And hey, there's a gargoyle in there in this version, and that in the DOS version it was just 2 ogres. And there, of course, there's the skeleton getting more hits off me than it should. The 6th one always catches me up in this one. You're supposed to blast through here and pick up the key here. Now you can bust through here and get through all these gates. This level. This is definitely one of the laggiest levels in the game. Pick up that key. You could use it on that gate, but I don't want to use it on it quite yet. Grab that potion. Okay, there's some more potions in here. They kind of don't look like potions in this. Like, what do they look like? They kind of look like... Actually, they look a bit more like how the scrolls look in the DOS version. So, yeah, kind of odd. You can go through here, but it doesn't lead to anything. There's just some more skeletons in here. But killing them to help speed the game back up again is probably makes them worth killing. You get another key there. And then you can go through this long gate. And get rid of all those guys who are all bunched up for some reason. Okay. Okay, so... Let's see, get out of strafe mode. Let's, break through here. We don't have to go through here, but there's some more... Ah! It was still alive. There's some more potions there. What you have to do is go through here. There's another potion. And then you want to blast through here to... Yeah. Then you can go through here, and then you can kill these skeletons if you want. So, go through this gate, make sure you... Oh wait, I guess you can use the key on any of these 3 if you want. And once again, no way to get these potions, I don't think. Should mention that I mostly watched that YouTube video for for levels 11 to 15. Didn't really watch it for 1 to 10 because I'm using the DOS maps for those. Oh yeah, this is the Dark Halls. There's a lot more text in this version. A lot more flavor text to see on the walls. Oh. Kill that gargoyle. How did that skeleton get 3 hits off me? 1 is fine, but 3 times? Okay, I think it's a little maze down here. Whoa. There's a... No, you don't go through there. We have a gate here, and you're supposed to blast through the side on this one. Oh, wait. There's more stuff here? Wait. Oh, nothing? Okay. Okay. Now we've got a ton of ogres and a ton of gargoyles. You know what? Let's grab this key first. Let's do this. Go into strafe mode. What? I thought I was in strafe mode. So I just wasted a bolt because I thought I was in strafe mode and I wasn't for some reason. Okay, whatever. We don't really need the magic spells. I just want to use them for the sake of using them. It's kind of like how in RPGs where I end up never using my items because I'm just like, oh, I want to save them. But then I try to save them and I end up never using them. And then when I actually do use them, I end up running low on them. So there's no way to win there. This one doesn't have a name, so I'm going to call it the Skeleton Den, because there's so many freaking skeletons in here. And I'm betting that the goblins are the natives here. Or not the natives, but part of whatever the tribe name is that took over this location. But any human who dies trying to defeat these guys becomes a skeleton. So all of these skeletons that we're defeating were all humans that have tried and failed to get through here. And if we get a game over, then we become one of them. That does, in a figurative sense, it doesn't actually like add another skeleton to the game somewhere. It'd be cool if it did. It'd be kind of like a Zombie U, where if your survivor dies and becomes or at least becomes a zombie, then when the second survivor you're playing as finds where the last survivor died, there's the key by the way, you can fight them and kill them as a zombie as well. So, kind of weird, kind of creepy, and I love it. Okay, I know there's a place where, yeah, there you go. I know there's a place where you can bust through to get some more stuff. Actually, if you look closely, the tiles that you can break through actually look a little bit off compared to the ones you can't break, so maybe there is indication on which ones you can break. Oh yes, speaking of visuals, I'd like to point out, if the game tiles kind of look like they're warping a little bit, well, I'm just kind of playing AppleWin through the default settings. Like, the YouTube video that I watched to get information on this game, the graphics definitely looked a little bit more mucky, and I can only assume that's because they were playing it on a different emulator. But, anyways, let's go. Here's the last level, if you're playing the DOS version, because this is the 6th to last level. Wait a minute. Yep, 6th to last. So, you have to, there's a lot of small tiles in here that you have to break through. And, you gotta figure out which one you can break through. And then down here, there's gonna be some ogres, I guess. There's an example of the game's lag kind of being affected because I pressed Z to go out of strafe mode and I didn't. Break that. How did you hit me through the... Well, it didn't hit me through the wall, but it hit me through that tiny crevice. That goblin is chasing me from behind. There's more gargoyles in there. Whoa. Got more skeletons. Oh, yes. You want to get 2 keys. Turn, please. You want to get 2 keys, and one of them isn't here. Got to figure out which of these to break. There it goes. Okay, whoa. N! I pressed N like 3 times and it didn't do with the nuke. Hey, how did you get down here? What? Oh, wait. I didn't know you could break that. Okay. Anyways, you wanted to come down here to get this key. Hey, come back here. Okay, oop. There we go. Now we've got the other keys, so now we can make our way to the exit. Well, not the exit, but the mirror. Okay, not quite what I intended, but, it worked. Get that other ogre. Get that other ogre. And there we go. There's the dragon. The dragon was the... This was the only dragon in the game in the DOS version. It's not the only one in this version, but it served as the final boss in the DOS version. Oh, and if you want, yeah, you can get the dragon to kill the gargoyle, but let's get in front of it and try to use a bolt. Maybe try to get it to come out here? God, like, these things AI. There we go, that's what I wanted to do. The Way of Death. Entering level 11. And we're starting off getting ambushed by skeletons. Great way to start. If you decided, yeah, I don't need to heal after you decided, I don't need to heal after fighting that dragon, those skeletons will be like, surprise, motherfucker! Okay, the Caves of Death. So what you're supposed to do for this level is first get rid of everything. Well, you don't have to get rid of everything, but it's a good idea to. Is we need 2 keys in order to get through the gates. And I believe one is here. There we go. Oh, I might just have oh, there it is. Yeah, there's a couple different places where you can break through walls to get stuff. But because like I said, because there aren't any maps on this, I just went off of what the YouTube video said. Or not said, but showed. And I'll show as many secrets as I can, but I probably won't end up getting to all of them. Yes. You can go through here as well. Get some more scrolls. Okay, then. Oh, jeez. Have we killed everything in here yet? Well, what was that? I saw something kind of weird at the bottom of whatever this is. Kind of looks in the shape of a cloud, almost. Oh no. Okay, just trying to think of things to say. You can find more potions in there. Once again, potions not scarce at all. And then you have to be... Okay, I thought there were 2 gargoyles in here, but it looks like there's just one. Here there be gargoyles. Yep, a lot of freaking gargoyles. Let's see if I can get out here and use a nuke. I said... It blocked me. This level kind of reminds me of level 26 in Catacomb 2, because it's kind of shaped the same, and there's gargoyles everywhere. You know, I guess on the topic of catacombs, there was a Roblox game I saw someone in called Catacomb Exploration that I thought looked cool, might make a cool video, but I didn't. But I haven't really tried it since. But I'd like to do a video on it just to see what it's like. It's just, I'm on a little bit of a Roblox burnout right now, so I don't really want to play that right now, even though I wanted to try to get at least one Dolly's Factory video out between single-player projects. Is projects really the correct word? I think playthrough would be a better word, because I feel like when project is something that you're extensively working on, whereas this, I'm just taking notes on the game. I guess because I'm taking notes, that alone can make it a project, but I'm just taking notes and then playing the game. Really simple. And there's some potions that I missed that I'm going to go back for. Right behind where you start, with this thing that's actually kind of shaped like a G. G for gargoyle. You can get more potions. And in here, you get more scrolls. And once again, me not using the scrolls. You know what? Let's use one. Ah, that gargoyle knew to wait for my shots to stop. That gargoyle was smart. Let's see. Some more scrolls. More potions, and more scrolls. There we go. And there wasn't any keys in here, you just had to power through a bunch of gargoyles. The hearth. Break through this to get your key. And just when you thought that the dragon in level 10 might be the only dragon in here, haha, you are sorely mistaken! So yeah, there's a fair amount of dragons in here. If you want, something you can do in this that you also could do in Catacomb 2 is that you can make the dragons kill each other or kill the other enemies by letting them shoot each other. So it's yeah, but thank God there's only 15 levels in this and not 30. Yeah, you of course can kill them normally as well. I think they only take like 3 or 4 shots with your normal magic spell. So yeah, these guys are, and their fireballs don't do a whole lot of damage, but if they get like a physical shot off of you, it's gonna hurt a lot, just letting you know. Is that all of them? I guess there is. And this is... I'm not gonna lie, this kind of looks more like it's shaped like a chicken if you just look at it from the bottom. But this is supposed to be in the shape of a dragon, with the mirror being its eye. I think that's really neat. Really neat design. But you can blast through its mouth. You can blast through its mouth to... careful not to go into the mirror. You can blast through its mouth and then go into its stomach to get some more collectibles, which is what we're doing. Got some more there. And there you go. Now we can go through the dragon's eye. The Dark Guard. So this one is one where you have to find the passage to get through, then defeat the enemies, and then find the other passages to get through and defeat the enemies. And then you will fight all 5 types of enemies in this game. Now, I think it's here you want to go through, somewhere around here. There it is. Hey. There we go. Ah, 2 more. Hey, there's 1 more skeleton. Should I really go out of my way for that 1 skeleton? Of course I will. I may take another hit doing it because the skeletons hit you more times than they should, but somehow I didn't. Now, let's see. About right... Wait, hold on. Yeah, there it is. About right here with the... And there's reference of where we came from the skeletons. Let's get in there and try to use some bolts. See? It worked. Hey, that fireball went through me and didn't hurt me. That was weird. And now, we've got, dragons! And you have to go through a little zigzag to get through this one. Well, like I said, if you want, you could just make the dragons kill each other with their own fireballs. Whoa, there's a lot of them. See? They're trying to fight you, and they ended up just fighting each other. Alright, to the Chagrin Vault. Just like level 30 of Catacomb 2, there's a ton of treasure chests for you to get, but also a ton of enemies guarding it. Actually, there weren't enemies guarding it in Catacomb 2. There were just a bunch of enemies off to the side that could easily come after you. So we have 1 key right there, and the other one is right above it. You're going to need 2 keys for this. Chagrin Treasure Rooms. Beware of Curse. The hell are you talking about? Okay. N! Okay, I'm just gonna waste the rest of my nukes on this since this is the last level. Just make sure you use your potion steadily. Jeez, talk about slowdown. Whoa. Alright, and now I'm going to start using my bolts. This game's freaking slowdown is making the button commands not react right away. Yeah, wreck 'em! Set off a nuclear bomb! Well, that's essentially what we're doing. That's why they're called Nuke. And if you want to get some extra potions, there are some in here as well, even though I don't think we need them. But anyways, let us listen to the satisfying sound effect of collecting the rest of the treasure in the game. Oh, well, if you look at our score count up there, it's actually looping round back to 130,000 every time we pass it. So, after we get all of these, I'm going to calculate in the edit what our real high score is. Well, I didn't calculate it, but I can explain exactly what this is. Apparently, it must be a bug where only if you pick up a treasure chest, not for defeating enemies, and if the 4th digit caps over 9, the 5th digit will not go up for some reason. So our high score is probably over 200,000, but I'm not sure. And it's still a high score even before that. Congratulations! You have defeated the Shadrani. Press a key. Escape to quit. And with that, that was Catacomb for the Apple II. So, that's all we really came here for. That's all this additional video in the Catacomb playlist was. But there was another version of this game released for a more advanced version of the Apple II, which I'll put a little screen recording of someone else's video on here. I would like to play that as well, but it actually is formatted as a .po file rather than a .dsk file, which is what the rest of the Apple II disk files are. As a result, it cannot run on AppleWin. However, I asked the people in the Apple II Reddit what emulators could run .po files, and some people suggested some. I think MAME is one that can run .po files, but I've never tried it, and I usually use MAME for arcade games anyway. But anyways, on the day of this Catacomb video going up, tomorrow is finally time. You've been waiting for it ever since we played Zelda 1. Tomorrow, I will see you guys in Zelda 2, The Adventure of Link. Thanks for watching, and see you guys then. Press Q to quit.